News Channel 6 is staying on top of these storms. News Channel 6 reporters Renetta Dubose and Stephanie Borman are live in areas that have been hit pretty hard by this rough weather. And we're going to start with News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman standing by in Little Johnston, South Carolina, the heart of Edgefield County, with the unfortunate distinction of being ground zero when it comes to damage and some injury reports. Stephanie.
Brad, the best way to describe Johnston right now is just a war zone. I mean, behind me you can see this is the scene just across the entire city. Crews have wasted no time in trying to get this area cleaned up. I mean, you can see this tree just took the power line down with it. This area has no power at this time, and nearly 1,200 people in this area are without power. They are asked to leave their homes and go to that shelter that has been open. The mayor, I spoke to him earlier, and he said that there are no reports of injuries, just a lot of trees on houses. I'm not sure if you can see it, but behind this large tree across the family car, it's just, this is the scene everywhere. We've also heard reports of houses that have been moved from their foundations. Again, luckily no one has been injured in these horrible storms. We're going to continue to update you. We're going to also be checking out some other areas and bring you that information. I'm going to throw it back to you. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
Trees are down on homes and cars in the Johnston, South Carolina area tonight.
The storms hit Edgefield County pretty hard. Now homeowners, they're dealing with that damage. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman live there now with an update. Stephanie.
Kim, just to give you a little bit of perspective, I'm about 50 yards from where I was at 5 o'clock. The damage here is just everywhere. As you can see behind me, this tree crashing into this home. We do know that the people that live here were not injured. They're going to be spending the night at that shelter that was open at the Armory. I mean, behind the home, there are about 3 or 4 trees that were just ripped from the ground. One of them barely hanging there, split in half. The one in front, there's no telling if that one's going to come down as well. I mean, this is just the scene everywhere, even across the street. This tree barely missing this home right in front of us. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. It's unbelievable, to be honest. I want to take you a little bit closer over here. This also, the branches just laying here. I mean, thankfully, again, they missed the house, but barely. Right behind the home as well, there's about 3 or 4 other trees that were also ripped from the ground. We're going to be hitting a couple more spots, and I'm going to send it back to y'all. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
Time now to check back in on our South Carolina friends as trees are down on homes and cars in the Johnston area tonight.
The storms hit Edgefield County pretty hard. Now homeowners are dealing with the damage. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman live there now. Stephanie, what's the latest?
Kim, the mayor of Johnston declared this under a state of emergency earlier today, and this is exactly why he did that. This tree crashing into this home. Thankfully, the people who live in this home were not injured. They were able to get out safely, and they're going to be spending the evening again in those shelters. But just to prove to you how strong those winds actually were, they not only ripped the tree out of the ground, but they took the cement and the curb with it. I mean, it had to take some really powerful winds to do that, and who knows how long it'll be before they can get this area back to normal. Just even behind me, there's other trees. You can see people starting to arrive, trying to get this area cleaned up. We're going to toss it back to you. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
George, thanks a lot. Well, Johnston, South Carolina certainly saw its fair share of rough weather this afternoon. Homeowners in Edgefield County, South Carolina, they're assessing the damage right now after trees uprooted, some of them crashing down on homes and cars. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman live in Johnston now with the latest.
Brad, our viewers who joined us on Facebook Live earlier will remember that this is one of the first places that we actually came across. As you can see, this tree just crashed into this home. Luckily, no one was injured. The family that lives here was able to safely get out, and they just moments ago, they actually just came and they're sort of assessing the damage. I am told that the people that showed up, a lot of them are volunteers, people helping people, trying to get this area back and cleaned up. I do want to take y'all over here for a minute though, right here, just to show you how strong those winds were. It not only just ripped the tree from out of the ground, but it actually brought the curbing with it. I mean, this is cement. It ripped right out. They're gonna It's going to take some time to get all of this area cleaned out. I mean, this is a massive tree. It's just so large. Luckily, again, no one was injured. It's just going to take some time to get this cut down. It's going to take a lot of work. Luckily, like I said, these people are volunteers. Hopefully, they'll get this area back to normal so they can get back to living in their home. I'm going to send it back to y'all. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
The wind and rain hit hard in Edgefield County. We want to go back now to News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman, who is in Johnston, where trees toppled onto cars and homes. Stephanie?
Jenny, we've been telling you all night that the damage is just everywhere. Right now I'm standing in what was once someone's front yard. Now it's just covered with limbs, down trees, and there's no telling if more limbs could be coming down from those trees that are still standing. I do want to show you right here, this church right behind me. They dodged a bullet today because one of the trees that was actually in these people's yard fell in that direction. As you can see, it's laying right down there. They were able to move it out of the way, and it just barely brushed up against the building. Luckily, nothing happened to this structure. That down tree, though, trees like that were down everywhere across Johnston, blocking many of the major intersections. First responders started cleaning up those first so they can make sure that the roads were clear to get to where they need to go. Again, no one has been injured as far as the mayor knows. I spoke to him and he said that he doesn't think anyone's been injured. Luckily, a lot of the people here in this area are without power right now, so they are being asked to go to that shelter. We have all that information for that shelter available on our website, WJBF.com. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
The National Weather Service is scheduled to be out in Johnston, South Carolina after those strong storms hit the area yesterday. Wednesday, that severe weather downed trees and power lines that fell during the storm. Several homes and cars were damaged. A shelter is now set up at Jet Middle School for those looking for a place to stay. WJBF News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman is live in Johnston with the latest on the cleanup efforts. Stephanie?
Mary, as you can hear behind me, Johnston is already in cleanup mode this morning. Right now I'm standing at a home that could be considered one of the worst hit areas in Johnston. This tree was just uprooted from the ground, crashing into the front of this home. I mean, that impact was so hard that the homeowner thinks that the house was actually shifted from the foundation. It suffered tons of water damage, and there's no telling when they're going to get out here to even start cutting those trees down. I did speak to the mayor, and he said that right now he does want to warn people that there are some scammers out there that are trying to come out here and scam people into cutting their trees and doing it for a lot of money, but the city actually has crews out right now that are doing that for free. So if you are in Johnston and you do need someone to come clean up your yard, all those limbs and trees, they want you to go ahead and call the City Hall and they'll send out a crew that will do it free so you don't get scammed. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
Edgefield County, a community is slowly rebuilding after a line of storms wreaked havoc on the town of Johnston. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman joins us live on Lee Street. And Stephanie, you're going to tell us the latest on the cleanup efforts there.
Kim, as you can see behind me, this home, the front porch was destroyed by this tree that came crashing into it. Luckily, the homeowner wasn't home when this happened, but all day today they've been working to try to get as much of the tree off of the house as they could so they could finally get a good look at that damage. Jewel Carpenter has lived in this home for nearly 30 years, and for 30 years she's been worried about the big oak tree in her backyard.
So, well, our biggest nightmare has just come true.
The heavy rain and strong winds ripped the tree right out of the ground, bringing pieces of the driveway, the metal gate, and her brick columns down with it right before crashing into her house.
And my husband's Ford Explorer was in the driveway, and it did not even damage anything on the Explorer.
Several trees in her backyard were also uprooted, but the damage wasn't the only surprise.
Our neighbors have a trampoline in their backyard, and that ended up on a building that we have in the back where we use for storage.
The front porch was torn off, and the inside of the house has extensive water damage. Carpenter says she's lucky to be alive, and in time, everything will be back to normal. Still, many people wait all year to enjoy the Carpenter's blooming flowers in the spring, but Mother Nature had different plans for this year.
Because there are a lot of people in town that are unable to fix their yards up anymore, and they tell me all the time, "Oh, Jewel, we just love your yard. We can't do it anymore. We've gotten too old, so we depend on you to do it so we can ride by and enjoy yours."
Coming up at 6, hear from another homeowner who during that storm started praying. The 2 things he prayed for were granted, and now he says miracles do happen. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
City of Johnston, South Carolina, assessing damage after last night's storm.
The South Carolina governor issued a state of emergency for the Edgefield County town shortly after the storms hit. They are issuing a mandatory curfew as crews work to restore power. Dozens of trees uprooted, landing on homes in the street and knocking out power to hundreds of people. Thankfully, there were no injuries reported after the storms ripped through the middle of downtown. WJBF News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman is live now on Jackson Street in Johnston. Stephanie, how are people doing out there today?
Jenny, despite the widespread damage, like you said, it's honestly remarkable that no one was injured in these storms. The homeowner of this place says not even Mother Nature could stop the miracle that he witnessed happen here yesterday.
We heard the freight train, but it was the freight train, not the storm.
Neighbors, friends, and just strangers offering a helping hand spent the day clearing out 5 uprooted trees at Marion Austin's house.
The young lady over there drove by and stopped in the street and says, y'all need some help. Well, not one to turn down help.
The couple was outside when the storm was yards away from their home, and they barely made it inside.
When this thing started coming, I made 2 requests. I said, God, please don't let anybody get hurt in this thing, and don't let any of my trees fall over and hit the Baptist church next door.
Austin says his prayers were answered because when he walked outside, the tree that fell towards the church had only brushed the side of it, and later he found out no one was injured in the storm. While it may take some time to clean up the yard and replace the porch, Austin says there's still a silver lining. All
it did was mess up the roof of the porch, and that's it. So I'm thankful for that. I can move trees. That ain't no big deal. And there are azaleas under that whole corner, so my wife will have fun replacing those.
So as you just saw earlier today, this has been cleaned up since then. The tree has been removed. It did damage, again, the front porch and even some of the glass window there. The mayor, we spoke to him earlier, and he did say that there are people out there trying to scam residents and giving them outrageous quotes to remove those trees and stuff, but the city is doing all of that service for free. We actually have the phone number to call the city on our website, WJBF.com, if you are still needing someone to come out here and get those trees removed, debris, anything that they can help, they're going to do that for free. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
Countdown begins with the city of Johnston, South Carolina, working to get back on its feet after a line of storms left the Edgefield County town in a state of emergency. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman reports.
It's been several weeks since an EF2 tornado ripped through Johnston, and as you can see behind me, this town still has a long way to go. While some homeowners are doing what they can, the city is hoping that a cleanup day Saturday will get this place back to normal. Downed trees in Gloria Tolman's yard aren't stopping her from cutting the grass. She's just working around the mess because she can't clean it up alone.
I'm a great grandmother, so you know, and I have asthma, so I can't do a whole lot myself. I do what I can as I can.
A part of a tree in her backyard broke off and destroyed her workshop, and nearly a month later it's still sitting there. She says there's been little movement to pick up the debris.
We have not seen anybody actually coming by to clean up.
The city of Johnston can only haul away trees and yard waste that's 6 inches around and up to 5 feet long. Still, Conwell Parks says this pile of debris has been sitting in front of his house for 2 weeks.
All this stuff is less than 6 inches. You know, that's what the town is supposed to pick up. But as you can see, it hasn't been done.
We've been doing the best we can as a town, but the sad part, a lot of it still falls on the homeowner's responsibility. You know, when trees fall down on your property, they're your trees.
Hours and days after the storm, many neighbors came together to get trees off houses and cut up. While the city of Johnston doesn't have the equipment to remove larger debris, they are hopeful people who do will lend a helping hand.
I think it's a good idea if people will come and volunteer, but I'm not saying that people haven't. I think we had a great volunteer effort once everything got started, but moving forward, it's going to take more than just people with chainsaws. Right now, we need people with grapples and dump trucks.
The cleanup day is Saturday from 8 to 2, and anyone who wants to volunteer just has to show up at Town Hall at 7:30 on Saturday. Reporting in Johnston, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.
You can count on continues with the United States Congressman visiting Johnston, South Carolina today on his annual First Responders Tour. News Channel 6's Stephanie Borman joining us live in Edgefield County, where she covered Jeff Duncan's visit. And he took the opportunity, Stephanie, to really thank first responders for their hard work back in April when that tornado rolled through.
Brad, this is the first time Duncan says he's actually had a chance to see the damage in person, but his tour couldn't come at a more perfect time because being here gives him an insight into just exactly what this town needs to move forward. Take a drive down any Johnston City road and you'll see piles and piles of debris stacked near the roadways outside many homes. More than a month after declaring Johnston in a state of emergency, Mayor Terrence Colbreth met with state lawmakers asking for assistance to remove the larger debris that's still lingering.
My State House visit has done something, because now we had DOT crews in here early this morning, and from what I hear, they're going to be here to get some of this stuff cleaned up.
The line of storms may have ripped through the Edgefield County town, but fortunately it didn't take any lives.
One thing I've noticed is
U.S. Congressman Jeff Duncan stopped in Johnston to meet and thank the mostly volunteer-driven fire and police department.
and they do a very, very good job with it. This was a prime example with the windstorm and the damage that's here that they're having to deal with.
While the state hasn't allocated money for Johnston cleanup, leaders are hopeful the congressman's visit will further push the envelope to get the town debris-free.
I think the major problem is just making sure that we have the equipment needed to get the bigger equipment up. I mean, we're just not in a position right here in the town where we have that equipment.
As always, we stand ready and willing to help, whether it's for firefighting equipment, whether it's law enforcement grants, and you know, that's just an ongoing, continuous thing, not just when a major storm hits.
SCDOT is mainly focusing on clearing the debris that's covering the roadways, but the mayor says they are more than willing to take any help that they can get from volunteers. Reporting live, Stephanie Borman, WJBF News Channel 6.